Pianists, do you ever struggle with hand independence, especially when you're holding one finger and having to do activity in the other part of the hand? This is incredibly normal in things like Bach fugues, counterpoint, dense writing, and polyphonic textures, just meaning there's more than one line going on within the hand. For those of you that don't know, I have a group online called Key Learners Piano Club, where there's weekly trainings and a community aspect and all sorts of things. Members level up and then get to request a YouTube tutorial. So this is one of those. Raquel just asked something about two completely different pieces, yet they kind of boil down to the same solution as I'm about to show you. So the first one is a Bach Prelude and Fugue, the F minor book 1. The second one is actually from Albanus. Here are both examples. I have not learned either of these pieces, so good luck to me. And then number 2. In the Bach, we have the challenge of holding the thumb while doing a trill. See it while the thumb's on D flat. In the Albanus, we have the B thumb while doing staccato. So they're related problems in that the activity of the hand is busy. The two ways I solve this is, of course, you should be able to play the two lines of the hand at different times. So just like you would practice hands separate, you also want to practice parts of the hand separate. So, and the key here is to maintain the fingering you're going to use when you actually perform it. So for me, it would be 3-5 trill with a 2-3 end. I would still keep that fingering even though I'm not playing the thumb. Then you want to play the thumb only without the trill top. And that's a way of first just getting your ear acquainted with the differences and with your fingers being very aware of the angle and the position and all that. That won't completely solve the problem, but it's a really great first step. A lot of why you have trouble in things like this is simply because you start trying to solve the entire problem at the same time. So once you've split it off, here's where the real thing comes in. What I call the pivot practice method. Very simple. It's kind of like what we just did with separating it, except it's going back and forth. So you're pivoting between the bottom and the top. You're still doing both things, but giving yourself permission to dissect it one at a time. It has two added benefits. One is that you just have more time to actually think about it. So instead of doing E flat and A together, you play E flat first, and then you add A. You just have now time to process the differences between the two. But the other thing, which is related, is that it actually helps you to now physically feel the differences, not just to think about it. Because if you add one after the other, you still will feel both of them at the same time. You're just not starting them at the same time. I'm not releasing E flat, I'm just adding the A to the E flat. Now the real challenge is when the trill comes in. Same thing though. If you start the trill right when the thumb has to go down, it might automatically start with tension. So if you were to just do this, D flat, down, relax, and then trill a couple times, and now add this. It's very simple, but that's how I practice these things. So it'd be like, hold E flat, add A and B flat, switch to D flat, start trilling. Relax. Now, obviously that corrupts the rhythm a bit. That's not a problem. We're not trying to learn the rhythm right now. We're trying to just get the hand a little bit more coordinated. So how can we get closer to the end goal without actually doing the end goal? Very simple. All of you know probably by now, if you've followed this channel for a while, the 90-10 principle. You always jump one step or two or three sometimes harder once you've adapted to a problem. So to make this a little harder, you mix the articulations now. So you would still do the same thing, but you'd play the top staccato. Now staccato trills. Notice how still my wrist and my elbow is. I'm not moving anything here, I'm just articulating from the fingertip and the knuckle only. Staying really relaxed, right? It doesn't work in this case to do the other way around where you do staccato bottom, because there's no benefit. The whole challenge here is to hold the bottom while having activity in the top of the hand. In this case, it's just hold the bottom and do staccato top. And then the next step of making it harder would be to do what I call spurt practicing. Short spurts, increasing the amount that you can do within one go. So I'm holding the D flat, and I just do B flat C, 2 notes of the trill, like grace notes. Then I do 3, then I do 4, then 5. You know, until I get to the point where it's 7, 8, 9, 10, till I can just kind of trill for a while. Right? Once you're at that level, could take a while, then it should be pretty much automatic to just do them together. So then you get... I forgot how beautiful this prelude is. Absolutely gorgeous. I should play it. This is how I feel every time I teach a piece. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to learn that. And there's like 12 of my students playing something I want to learn right now. The problem is, yeah, I could, but not time for everything. So Rachmaninoff said, music is enough for a lifetime, but a lifetime is not enough for music, right? There's just too many pieces to enjoy. So same solutions if we jump over to the Albanus. The only difference is it's already built in staccato. So the main thing you want to first do, just right hand till I solve the problem, get the B down, then practice opposites. Even though it's written staccato, first do it legato. Split the time, so go to C first in the thumb, then F sharp. So you're pausing whenever you need to shift something or pivot between the parts, right? Now, and again, you could do the add a note thing in short spurts. Even though this isn't a trill, the same principle applies. Something like that. See, it's already starting to get kind of more light. So, there is yet one more strategy I have to solve these kinds of things. We're going to focus on the wrist involvement as opposed to just the fingers. When you want to release part of the hand, you have to focus on tipping toward the side of the hand that you're not releasing. So in this case, this only applies to the Albanus because the Bach, we're not releasing any part of the hand. The trill is active the whole time. So doesn't really apply, but it definitely does here. When you want to play staccato while still holding the B, you just tip to the B, which is to the left, like this, till the point where you're literally off of the key. Then you're not having to gain finger independence necessarily. It's happening automatically for you because by tipping, you're now too far away to keep holding down both notes. But you didn't actually try to release anything, so your B is still held down. So we go tip left, now swat at it and tip left again. Now I switched to C. I'm neutralizing the rhythm. Again, we're just learning moves here. We're not learning the piece. We're learning an aspect of the piece. So you can speed up a little bit, get used to that. So at the fastest I would go to still get value. Because any faster than that, and it's going to be counterproductive. But it's a good way of kind of just getting that first level of hand independence before you can do it in the fingers, where it's totally in control. There's the 3 takeaway tips. You do it at different times. You do your parts separate. You reverse your articulation. And finally, you do tipping of the wrist in order to assist the letting go of a certain voice. So I guess that's 4. In any case, if you have questions, drop it in the comments. For those of you that don't know and don't have it yet, I've got a free piano guide. It's like 35 pages, super in-depth. My entire career of knowledge was poured into that thing. It took me 7 months to write. It's free. Like, you have nothing to lose. You go get a copy. It's in the top of the description. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to making the next video and seeing you next time.